While I wrote Brown, I come to know that we all fall into different identity diversifications. And being Anishinaabe, yeah, I'm Anishinaabe, but there's different diversifications amongst our people. And I'm status. I have a status card. I get my medical paid for to come to here in Toronto. I came to Toronto to see a couple of doctors, but as well as I get my education paid for and that kind of stuff. But these are all within our treaty obligations in terms of the relationship that come with the land, people being able to use our territories. And so it is part of that relationships in terms of how, and we coexist, but we still hunt and fish off our land. So the status people are everywhere. We know who we are, and a lot of us live in our community. Then we have the second generation status people who are born and raised in cities. They've never been to the community, but they're born and raised and have a status card. That's another Anishinaabe identity diversification. And some people, wow, I don't even know who I am. I haven't been into my community. And so it becomes a very complicated feeling kind of thing, of feeling shame or guilt or kind of stuff, because they don't know. And sometimes they're put on the spot. Who are you? And that kind of, the kind of stuff is because their skin is brown. So the other one is the non-status. The non-status are the ones, through blood quantum, under the Indian Act. If my children keep marrying outside of our Anishinaabe community, within Anishinaabe nations, the blood becomes watered down, and eventually lose that status, those rights to those benefits that we get. So that's the dynamic of the status and non-status, and it causes very much a division within our communities, because we should be able to help the people who we're connected with. And the government doesn't see it that way. They created this Bill C-31, and so our community is very much having issues over that, And right now my community is going through a membership code that they got to develop in order for them to move into negotiations in terms of getting an agreement around our land. But until that time, in my context in terms of Anishinaabe, because we have like 4,000 square miles of territory. My family, we're north of Lake Temagami, Diamond Lake, Lady Evelyn, Maple Mountain, down into Ababakar Lake, which is the old growth forest. That's the Bijou territory. And each family has their own territory like that. And it's been passed on from generation to generation, and that's like maybe 200 square miles of hunting territory that's within the Bijou family. So until they have a settlement, the status quo doesn't apply in terms of what they say that, they say they developed these boundaries in regards to a park in my hunting territories. They didn't come to ask the Bijou family. There was the duty to consult fit into this. They didn't. So it doesn't apply to us. We don't accept the status quo. We go and hunt whenever we please. We fish whenever we please. We go get wood and do what we need to do to survive and live off that land. And under the Constitution, we do have that right. It is within the Constitution that we have hunting and fishing rights. So it's built within our families. So we have 14 families within our hunting territories. So that's something that we have, and that's something I'm working with within my own community, encouraging our families to go and build. And so that's what I plan on doing while I'm up there, is building a cabin up in my hunting territory. I built homes back in my younger days, and while I was into construction.